You're live.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the October regular meeting of the Oak Hills Park Authority. Item number one on the agenda is to call to order. So I will call out the names of the authority members that I believe are here, and if you could just say aye, that would be great. So Alan Dutton is here, that's me. Denise Brown.
Here.
Richard Dellinger.
Aye.
Robert Stowers.
Here I am.
TJ Trimboli.
I am here.
And I think that's it at this moment in time for committee members. We do have a quorum, so we will move on to the second item of our agenda, which is the acceptance of the minutes. Could I have a motion to accept the minutes, please?
I'll make a motion to accept them.
We have a second.
I second.
Thank you. Any alterations or changes to the minutes as printed? I did find a couple myself that I will just bring to the attention. Under attendance, Gary leads. Gary has 2 R's in it. I think Gary only has 1 R in it, to the best of my knowledge. And then under staff, it just had Mark Gartner, but I believe Paul Alexander, James Holiday, and Jim Shell were also in attendance, unless you tell me differently. So those are the 2 changes that I see. Did any other committee member have any alterations or changes at this time? We okay? All right. So there being none, I would like to have a vote to accept the minutes as with those 2 changes. All those in favor, if you'd please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The minutes are approved. Item 3 on the agenda is public comment. James, is there anybody in the waiting room waiting to make any comments at this time? Jim Holiday?
Looking, one moment, please.
I do see Jerry Crawley is in there, but he is part of our panel. He should be part of our panel. I don't know why he's under attendees. He's going to speak about the supporters at that time. So Jim, you'll probably just need to give him what do you call it?
Yes.
Yeah, he
I've
just
done
came
that.
on. He just came on.
Great.
Right.
Okay, so there are no people for public comment. James, is that correct?
Correct.
Public comment is now closed. Item 4 on the agenda is reports of the chair. Not a very extensive report this meeting. Like to say that on the couple of things on the 24th of October, we will be having a thank you party to our staff at I Showed a Yacht Club, and I believe Jim sent out an email to all the members of the authority that if you'd like to attend this, it's at I Showed a Yacht Club on the 24th. It's of October. What is it, 6 or 6:30, Jim? I'm not sure.
6 p.m.
Sure. 6 p.m.
6.
Some people have agreed to come, and it's a really nice event. We say thank you to our staff, and it's a very nice event. So I just wanted to let you know about that. We also this Saturday, a few of us authority members actually did attend the Alfred Toll golf outing or golf event. It was a very nice event where the club actually went back to its original configuration, and everybody teed off from hole 7, and the authority members, I think myself, Rich Dellinger, Denise, and I'm sure I forgot other people. Just actually, we sold putts, and I think we did quite well. We sold about $500 worth altogether, and it was a very nice event. And thank you to Jim Holiday and your staff, and to everybody else, and to Steve Shepard, basically, for organizing this. And I think there was actually some business at Odin, so it was a very nice event. There was a was a very nice vibe at the I think Denise, Rich, you'd agree with us. It seemed to be a very nice event.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
very
Enjoyed
good.
it.
Great.
I actually don't see Gary Leeds on the list here. So he may be joining us later. But Gary has, agreed to chair the long-term planning committee, and I believe has been reaching out to several of us here to help him. And we have had a couple of meetings already. So that has started. Hopefully Gary will be able to join us and talk about, next steps, etc. If not, we'll do it at the next meeting. But it's really good to see that the Long Range Planning Committee is starting to kick off. There's a lot to talk about, a lot of us that we need to look at. And I think it's going to be a great opportunity for us. And I look forward to working with everybody on this project. And we will include not just authority members, but we'll reach out to the different chairs of the different committees that Gary's asked people to head up, and we'll reach out to other constituents as well. I think that's all I have as chairman's report. So let us move on to the special reports. Item number 5 on our agenda. Number 1 on our list is the restaurant report. And John, I see you are with us. So if you'd like to give us a quick update, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hi, folks. Nice to see everyone. Okay, this is the report for O'Dean's at Oak Hills, September to October. The restaurant business at Oak Hills continues at a relatively slow pace with diminished week-on-week receipts. The decision to reduce the hours of the halfway house has actually resulted in regular golfers coming through the doors of the restaurant and being introduced, some of them for the first time, to some of the offerings and value deals inside. We've had some great outings in the last 3 successive weeks. Stanford Police Department, Hoffman Landscaping, and Bill Meyer. And from what I can tell, all of them have expressed their enjoyment and appreciation for the food and beverages part of the deal. And the golfing season is beginning to come to an end. The concession cart and the halfway house will be put away for the winter shortly, and we'll be proposing to alter the hours of the restaurant to reflect the fall and winter hours at the end of the month, per our contract proposal back in February. It is our plan to remain open as a public restaurant through the winter in some capacity. It's worth reiterating that as part of our pitch for Oak Hills, and a fact that was welcomed by the committee, we recognize the need to reframe the restaurant space as the port of first call for golfers and to move the locus of operations from the halfway house to the restaurant. And it really does take nerve to stick to this plan. And while it's costing O'Dean's in the short term, we really do believe there will be a benefit to the golf course and to the restaurant in the long run to have the beautiful restaurant space next to the pro shop as the central clubhouse hub, providing the food and beverage options that golfers look for. We continue to take feedback and informal exit polls for customers, as well as the digital feedback that we get from customers through the POS system. And all of it is broadly positive. There's appreciation for our consistent hours, plaudits for the food and service quality, acknowledgement of the cleanliness and aesthetics of the space. We're launching a fall and winter menu in the next week with new and enhanced hours of operation. We're going to dovetail it with an aggressive marketing push to the local area. We've booked many private events over the next few months, and we continue to receive a lot of organic interest in the space. And I guess finally, one of the challenges we face at Oak Hills is the relatively low take-up of the restaurant by Oak Hills members inside the restaurant. both for drinking and or dining in and for organizing events inside the restaurant. And it's quite different from our experience at Ridgefield. And whether it's, for example, the decision to have the staff appreciation day at a different restaurant, or the apparent lack of end of golf year events that have been booked inside the restaurant, there's clearly a bit of skepticism of the operator space. And we do sincerely hope to change the trend in the future by being a consistent and reliable presence there. And that is the end of my report.
Does anyone, I have a couple of comments to make, but does anybody else have anything they'd like to, any comments for John, anything we'd like to say at this moment in time? So John, speaking as a, not an expert, but someone who's been a bit familiar with a restaurant and stuff like that, I think you make some very good points. I think your consistency in food, in product, in service, in attitude of the staff of being open is absolutely fantastic. I think now that we change, we go into a different, you're going to be going into a different mode from golfers to more outside business, I think, from the surrounding, areas and people. Obviously, hours of operation will be interesting. Actual menu itself, I'm sure you'll be looking at that as far as what do people want that come and have dinner or, have lunch. It's maybe not the same as what golfers eat. So I think that's just some considerations. Obviously, event-based things, football games and what happens in the fall and things like this, I'm sure you're looking at and stuff like that. West Norwalk Association is a great resource, etc. Because you do have a great space and a great product. It's a question of, getting it out there. And I'm pleased to see you are doing some private events. It's a great space to have them, and spreading by word of mouth would be great as well. So first year is always tough, as you know and see. Those are my comments, John, and thank you for what you do, by the way.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Thanks for the support. And I'll share our menu concept with you shortly.
Okay, I'll pop by. I'll give you a buzz and we'll pop by and we'll chat. Any other comments for John? There being none, I believe Mary Verrill is not with us either. So on the Nature Advisory Report, I believe a lot of bulbs have been planted. I don't know, Mark, if you have anything, or
Yeah,
Jim, if you have anything to report, that'd be great.
Just off the cuff, that yes, Mary and Lori Morrison from the Norwalk Garden Club, where there were two other ladies as well, planting bulbs in the fountain garden. So we'll see that in the spring. It's supposed to be very nice and different colors. They're gardening experts, so they know, what colors will come out and when they'll come out, and they're trying to time it so that you'll have something kind of blooming throughout from spring all summer long. As things die, new stuff will come out. So that's it.
Excellent, thank you. Next report on the tennis, Denise Brown. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's kind of not a lot to report on at the moment. We did have Art Goldblatt's dedication 2 weekends ago. It was a very nice event. It was a beautiful day. We had about 40 people turn out. We did actually have some catering from Odin's there. We kept it to light desserts and coffee and things like that. We had some great guest speakers. Rich was the MC of the whole event, and Alan and the mayor. We had Mayor Knopp, we had Jeff Goki, and Ann and Ben all speak. Plus, we had some other people that were had just come up to say some, kind words about art, and really was nice. I mean, it's kind of an overall feeling of Art's friendship and his support for the city of Norwalk for all the years and all the things that he's done. It really came through very strong, his character and kind of the love that people had for him. So it was a really nice event. And So that's kind of done with now at the moment. So the youth program is still going on. It wraps up in about 2 weeks. We have about 20 kids. A few more kids keep coming, so we have about 20 overall. It's running well. Coach Brian's, he's upbeat and fun with the kids. They seem to be having a really good time with him. And our fence project starts November 4th. It's on schedule. And the courts are being used pretty regularly from the public. You know, I always see cars there. There's always people playing. So I guess that will happen up until the very end, until we actually close the courts 1 through 6. And then we will keep 7 and 8 open for use as long as the weather permits. And that is all I have at the moment for tennis.
Any questions for Denise and the tennis, Oak Hills tennis? Okay, supporters of Oak Hills, Spark report, the Jerry Crowley. Hopefully, I think Jerry's here.
No audio, no report.
I think Jerry lost his voice.
I do see, I see him here.
No report.
No
he said.
report.
No report. Okay, Jerry, thank you for being here. It's always a pleasure to see you. And thank you for everything that you do. The next item was long-term planning, but unfortunately, Gary is not with us. Gary and I have met a couple of times, and also Robert Stowers and myself and Gary met briefly a couple of days ago just to, you know, to talk about, you know, our relationship with the city, how, you know, on our long-range plan, you know, how the wealth of experience that Robert brings to Norwalk from his past experiences and can help us. And it was a very good meeting. Jerry has reached out, I believe, to most of us that are on the committee and to head up different areas of expertise and talking about vision statements and also, you know, just to basically start the dialogue. You know, we do have a couple of things that are in the fire at the moment, things like first tees. And the thought is perhaps that we could probably roll this concept into a long range plan. We're not planning on spending, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4 years to get this thing done. You know, we are looking at some type of time frame so we can do it and start to, you know, implement some of the low hanging fruit, basically. So I'm sure Gary will be reaching out to all of you on an individual basis, and we'll be getting together, you know, probably in a Zoom meeting to discuss, get us all together and discuss what our next steps would be. Does anybody have any questions on long range planning at all? Pretty exciting project, actually. Okay, that ends agenda item number 5. We now move to management reports. And we've received all the reports of our professionals, our you know, department heads. So if you'd like to hit the highlights, what you'd like to bring to attention, we'd appreciate it. So starting off with our golf professional, Paul Alexander. Paul, thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Well, Paul's obviously here. It's a really beautiful time of year. It's kind of coming to the end of the golf season, but still pretty time to play. We've done some aeration. I'm sure Jim will talk about that. After aeration, it usually gets a little slower, but I still believe we'll be busy most all weekends. Utilization numbers 79% the last 23 days, and almost a third of those days we had 90% or more people. So when it's nice out or on the weekends, we're busy. I think we'll have 7 more good weeks. For the first 4 or 5 will be probably the best. 29 staff members, 1,200, almost 1,250, down 25 golf memberships possibly. But all outings have finished. We might have a mini one in end of November, believe it or not. We do have a little mini one coming this Monday, but there's no others on the schedule on that. Most of all the golf tournaments are over for men and women. Tully Cup was great. We even had a little mini Ryder Cup, so I think both events will get even bigger next year. All golf clinics will be finishing this week, and high school golf is finished this week. And I think Brian McMahon had a really good year. Tell you a little bit about Golf Now, though. They still drop lots of people. I just got a report today, $200,000 in bookings from Golf Now, 47% year-over-year increase. And to show their effectiveness of their online booking platform, we're getting, 450 people from White Plains, 230 from Long Island, 340 from Manhattan. And 50% of the people use the app on their phone. So that's pretty interesting. But now that it's mid-October, we'll see a slight slowdown in the rounds played due to the loss of light and a little cooler temperatures. But it's going to still be busy when the weather's nice and on the weekends and all in all. I think it's really been a good year and lots of golf. And Mark will probably share some of the good positive numbers with you.
Thank you. Any questions for Paul? There being none, we will move on to the report of our superintendent, Mr. Jim Shell.
Okay, guys, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, I've been having some trouble with the Zoom. I can't quite figure it out tonight, but sorry I didn't get my report in on time. Shame on me. But I do have some good things to report. We have successfully completed greens aeration and top dressing. There were no problems. It went very well. The staff worked real hard and stayed focused on finishing the job with not too much overtime required. Normally we see some kind of drenching rain after we finish, whether it's a day or 2 or 3 days later, but that is not gonna happen. So with irrigation system water, it may take a little bit longer for the healing to complete. Let's see. We'll see what happens. I never really experienced the first couple of weeks without any rain, so not real sure what's going to happen. We do have some excitement on the course now. The bunkers on holes 17, 3, and 1 have been stripped of all their old materials. The sand's out, the drainage is out, the sod around the bunkers is out. The areas around the bunker have been shaped. And they have tested the drainage outfalls. And what that means is the pipe that leaves the bunker that carries the water away when it rains, they just ran water in it and to make sure that it was functioning so that they didn't have to install new. And sure enough, we are in the clear so far. That means we don't have to pay extra money on top of the cost of the contract to add drainage that goes out of the bunker to wherever it goes to. So in essence, it takes the number of 220,000 down a little bit each time we have a good outgoing pipe from the bunker. So that's good news. We have had 3 mornings in a row with a tiny amount of frost on the tips of the longer grass, but it hasn't been enough to be a danger to the detriment of the grass. But it is an indication of where we are, where we're going with the weather. And pretty soon we're probably going to see later tee times automatically starting, just to avoid frost delays. We find that there's a lot more dissatisfaction when people have to wait around for a delay than there is when we just start later. We're at the maintenance facility here. Our new furnace installation was complete. All we have to wait for now is getting the gas line hooked up to the system itself. I guess that requires Eversource to come in and put a meter in and test it out, and then it's got to be tested, and then we'll have heat without exhaust, which will be, the first year that we've had it. I've always thought that it was because I was in a mechanic shop that I was smelling exhaust. Now we know. We were thinking of, as far as the bunker project is concerned, we're thinking of redoing the bunker on 4 and not doing the practice bunker at the range. It'll have more of an impact on the course this year. And anything for a bigger impact on the course that affects all the golfers, I think would be better. Next year we have plenty of time to do it But this year, let's have a bigger impact and make the golfers more satisfied, just for now. And I think that is my report. Any questions?
What Jim is talking about is that part of the original scope of the bunker project was in Paul Alexander's practice area, was to redo. There is a bunker there, I believe. Obviously, looking at the long range plan, we don't, who knows what's going to happen in that particular area. It would make sense to probably not do that in this year's scope, but to do hole number 4, which is the same, very similar square footage, so we could get hole number 4 done this year, and without spending any extra money, and then not have to do it in the second year. So I think that does make sense. So
Just for now.
Just for now.
Yeah.
Are there any questions for Jim?
Yeah, Jim.
Yeah.
When a bunker is being worked on, how long is it out of commission for the golfers?
They like to have probably 6 or 7 or 8 bunkers ready for the concrete pour. It's a capillary concrete. It's a porous concrete. And it makes it economical for them and for us to have that many ready. So at any given time, there's going to be 6 to 8 bunkers open, I would guess. It probably will be finished after 2 or 3 pours, so to speak.
Yep.
And then I would assume that once the concrete is in, they will do the sod and the sand before they start opening up others. I'm not sure of that. I will ask that question.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Any other questions for Jim? I should also like to note that Gary Leeds has joined us as at about 7:28, 27. So Gary, what I'd like to do, if I could, is I'm going to finish the management reports. We have Mark Gartner and Jim Holliday to do, and then we'll just circle back to special reports. And we did have you as long-term planning special reports. So it's okay with you. We'll just hear from Mark and from Jim, and then just circle back to you, if that's okay.
Sure.
Thank you. So report of the controller, Mark.
Okay. I got some updated figures. I was working off of preliminary numbers before. It's still preliminary, but I've now basically completed the month. And it's good. We did the bank recs, and I received the quarterly rent files from Marshall Odine and his new bookkeeper, also named Jim. Apparently, everyone must be named Jim now at the course. I'm going to change my name to Jim too.
Oh.
So just to go over the numbers that were on that I sent out that are in the agenda, the month of September net operating income was $9,000. It's now $21,000 over budget. And expenses were like maybe $6,000 over budget. And I want you to keep in mind that we would have been under on that. But if you recall, I think it was last meeting, there was $18,000 in that the Jim H and Jim S were coordinating to do the roofing of the maintenance building. That was not budgeted for, and it's going to come in. Again, thank you to Gary for asking the question last time, because it is going to be operating expense, not CapEx. So 9,000 of that, 50% deposit is hitting this month. So without that, we would have been under on expenses. So we are doing very well. For the year to date, so for Q1 of the new year, our revenues are $96,000 over budget, and that also filters down because we have expenses are still flat. So net operating income of $96,000 over budget, which is great. Our cash went up slightly, so our unrestricted bank balance is now $1,003,000. So it went up $5,000 from what I had put in the agenda here. And I moved. So capital reserve funds. 50% of restaurant rent is moved into the capital reserve funds. And, sometimes I don't necessarily do it as soon as I receive cash. So there were actually 3 months worth of, I had to do August, September, and October, not the quarterly, but just the $1,000 each. So I moved $1,500 over. And then what I did was I just took, there was a little over $12,000 balance. So I moved that $12,000 from Norwalk Bank of Trust to Bankwell because of the preferred rates that we have at Bankwell. So we're doing all right.
Are there any questions for Mark?
Just a quick question, Mark. How much are we going to be laying out for the bunkers here shortly?
Well, I don't know if you caught all of Jim's report, but we budgeted $220,000, but it looks like we should be coming in under that number. I don't think we're going to know the exact number until we're pretty much finished with the project, but it should be about 160 of actual contractor work, and then potentially $60,000 of supplies that Jim and his team will be purchasing. But again, it looks like it's going to be, I'm going to say maybe more like 200 to 210,000, maybe. Don't know.
Okay.
So yes, the bank balance will be going down soon, which is why I'm not transferring anything else from our main operating accounts at Norwalk Bank and Trust to Bankwell, because then I'm just going to have to bring it back in a couple months.
And I'm sorry, I do have one question for Jim.
Sure.
Jim, what are we doing with the sand that we're pulling out of the bunkers?
Some of it is actually going to get used in our new tees. Once they start that, they're going to mix it with some topsoil, and it will make for a much better root zone than we currently have, at least on number 8. Number 8 is native soil, and it's very dense and tight. And I think that having a better root zone using the bunker sand and some soil mixed together will make it a more reliable tee, maybe, should I say. The grass will be happier on that root zone.
That's good. And Jim, can you just tell us again, because whatever those mats grass that you got for 18 and 8 and whatever seem to have really held up well. Are we doing any of that on any of the other tees this year?
The mats, I'm not sure.
I don't know, whatever the sod that you put down on 18 after
Yeah, that was just shortcut bluegrass sod.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I frankly don't think it's held up very well at all, but we can disagree on that. That's okay.
Wow. I mean,
It's a product of the environment that those tees are in. Is really what it comes down to.
okay. All righty. Sorry for the diversion.
No, that's okay.
Just a quick update to the authority members on the financial. We were talking about the new furnace in the maintenance, which is so well received. It did cost $18,500 and was not budgeted. So that is going to be a capital expense, and will come out of the $25,000 contingency, I believe. That is just one item, and the second item is that the halfway house roof is in very poor condition. Its condition will deteriorate further in the winter. The best estimate is $4,500 to replace the roof, and I think that is a capital expense. That'll be another $4,500, which is the best estimate we got. So that would then take up our contingency up to $23,000 of the 25 that we have set aside for this upcoming year. Just from an informational point of view.
Yeah.
Any other questions on the financial side?
And Alan, just to piggyback that, I forget if I said this on the call last month, but there is a very good chance that we will go over budget on CapEx this year because of that. So depending on what happens with the bunker project, that might be able to save us a few bucks, but that's
okay. Okay. I'm not, obviously with a $96,000 operating income surplus after 3 months, I am not particularly worried yet, but obviously we'll see how we are going into the winter months, etc., etc. Thank you. General Manager, reports of the General Manager, Mr. James Holliday. Jim, are you there?
Here you go.
Where did he go?
Huh. Looks like I lost my General Manager, huh?
He is not here.
Let me text him.
Oh boy.
I'd have lost his internet.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's wait and see. But we do have Gary here, so let us circle back. Gary, you were on the long-term planning special reports, and I did say a couple of words about it. But if you'd just like to say a few words about what's been going on and what we're looking at short term in the future, that would be great. If I may, that's under agenda item number 5, special reports, long-term planning.
Okay, well, I think we're off to a good start on a very long project. Thank you, everybody, for deciding to be the leads. Alan and I had a meeting with Robert this week, and he brought his 10,000-page long-term plan for the city. It's not that long, but there's a big effort that goes into a good long-term plan. However, I think Robert's assistance on this will be wonderful. He told us he had just attended a Parks and Rec meeting and had lots of ideas for us as far as the park was concerned. So I asked everyone to do a little vision statement for their own areas, and I got some replies, and I think we'll be working on that. I will be contacting everyone directly this week to approach what type of individuals we want to have on the on their teams, and whether those people have been identified so that we can start moving forward on what we need to do. We need to kind of stay away from tactics or operational plans a little bit in the very beginning, so that we have good thinking. But I would love to jump right into the operational thinking as well. So I'll be contacting everyone this week to move forward. And again, this is a a long process. The one thing that I am looking for, and actually my son gave me a suggestion, which was we ought to use some of this artificial intelligence writing from our ideas and see if that can kind of kickstart our document a little bit in each of the areas. It's amazing what that does to help you get going on your writing. And then if anyone knows any experts on document presentations, that'd be wonderful also as we look forward. Jim Holiday talked to somebody, and I'm going to talk to him tomorrow, who sounded interested that they wanted to help us also with the document. So we'll see where we go. But I look forward to an exciting plan. And the one thing that Robert told us also is if and when we take down trees, we have to replace them with 2 like-kind trees. So some of that might be challenging if we're able to think about or move forward on a driving range. So we'll see. So that's all I have for this meeting, and I will continue to contact everyone and move forward.
Anybody have any questions for Gary? Thank you, Gary, very much for this chairing this project. I do believe that we have our host, Jim Holiday, back with us now. Jim, are you online again?
Here to be, yes.
Oh, good. We missed you for a while.
Well, I'm sorry to have disappeared on you. It's internet's a wonderful thing,
Indeed.
and sometimes not so much.
Reports to the general manager, if I may.
Like to look for highlights, and I will report that there are no real highlights in my report. It's all pretty basic, mundane stuff, and I am open to questions from anybody.
So many questions.
I have a question, Jim. Go ahead, Alan. That doesn't matter.
I was just saying, does anybody have any questions? Rich, you have the floor.
Sorry. So Jim, I just saw you met with an irrigation contractor to evaluate the tennis court system. Can you say any more about that, or what's your sense of where that's going to go?
Well, it was actually a 2-part meeting, Rich, and He was very professional. Jim Shell joined us, and he ran the entire system, all of the zones, and he found that there are 8 flaws now, problems with the system now. And he did give me an estimate for that. And I have not spoken to Jim Shell to get a sense as to what type of cost we would have if Jim did it. I will remind you that during our license agreement, Kings Highway Tennis Center is responsible for all the maintenance, but that's only for 90 days. That's from Memorial Day to Labor Day. So as we're beyond that period, we're responsible to make these repairs now. Jim has been making repairs to the irrigation system for a long time. He's very well equipped and capable of making those repairs. So I will be speaking to him early next week. The second part was to have an evaluation of the system to give us an estimate of the cost to replace it. And an assessment of the system. What does he think about it, and what would be a cost? He has not returned with an estimate for the cost to replace the system yet. So I hope that helps answer part of your questions.
Okay, no, that's what I was curious of, and I was just curious if it needs to be replaced. If he even got back to you on that, is what the need is for replacing the system, or how we.
Yeah, I think that the extraordinary number of repairs that were necessary to keep the system going in 2024 speaks pretty clearly about the condition of the system. And as a tennis player, Rich, you know the problems. We've seen the same problems for the past several years. So
thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Are there any other further questions for Jim Holiday?
Well, I actually have one more that struck out, Jim. I just wanted to ask you about the clubhouse sanitation system. So, I mean, can you give us a sense of what the failure was?
You really want to go there, Rich?
We're
talking toilets, okay?
Yeah.
We had 145 guests plus on Monday, and our system backed up. It was a mess. We had to direct all of our golfers and guests down to the old pro shop while we quickly relied on our emergency services. It just, if you had 40 people over to your house for dinner and cocktails, you might have the same problem that we had at Oak Hills on Monday. It was just too much for the system to handle. The good news is that I do have a solution. So yeah, that was the nature of the problem with the sanitary.
It's a septic system, and it's been very dry. It has been a lot of rain. So
actually, Rich, the clubhouse is on the city water and sewer. Yeah.
Oh.
So it was purely a matter of too many human beings using the system, and everything's got a breaking point or a bending point, and we reached that on Monday.
Okay. Any further questions for James?
Jim, I have one. Am I on mute?
No, I hear you.
Yeah, oh, you hear me? Okay. I'm not sure if it's on your list, but it's a follow-up to my question earlier about the trees to be cut back that I did get your reply that I guess Jim Shell is hiring, or you're hiring, an outside service to trim the trees around court 1 and 2 and also on court 6 on the outsides. So we're doing the outside perimeter of the fence, like both of the ends cap, plus along where 1 and 2 are, the tall old pine, I don't know what they are. Are they arborvitaes that are full of poison ivy and dying? Is that where they're trimming that part too?
Well, I'm not sure what your question is, but I do know that Jim is going to remove the arborvitaes between courts 7 and 8 and 1 and 2, the ones that are less than 6 inches in diameter.
Okay,
And we have hired Sunrise Tree Service to do all the work that requires climbing and the larger trees. We have a special exception from the city of Norwalk to remove a number of ailanthus, commonly known as tree of heaven, because they are hosts to the dreaded lantern fly. So we're taking down a few trees over by number 8, and we're trimming back everything that's overhanging the fencing. So it's a combination of in-house and out-of-house.
okay. And so the trees that he takes down between 7 and 8 and 1 and 2, the pine.
The arborvitae.
Are we obligated to replace them in the 2 for 1, like
Not,
No,
talked about?
only, not the ones that are bigger than or smaller than 6 inches, and I think that's most of them, almost all of them.
Okay, so we're not obligated, I mean, we're gonna figure out what to do, but we're not obligated to put the trees back.
true.
Okay. I mean, that's to be determined, but, okay. Thank you.
Any further questions
welcome.
for the general manager?
Yeah, I
Debbie?
have one, I have one. Hey, Jim, the Staff Appreciation Day, when is the golfing and when is the dinner start?
Well, I'll start with dinner, Gary. Hors d'oeuvres and cocktails, 6 p.m. Dinner served at 7. And golf is sort of all day. Some people are teeing early in the morning and some in the afternoon. Hope you'll join us. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'll try and come to the dinner. I don't think I can do the golfing. So,
Great,
or can't do both.
great.
Okay.
Any further questions for our general manager? There being none, we'll move to item 7 on our agenda, which is old business, new business. Does anybody have any old business or new business they'd like to bring to us at this moment in time? Okay. And that leaves us to the last item of the agenda, which is adjournment. So I'm not sure if I've got the record or not, but looks like we have got you guys out for 8 o'clock. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Would someone like to propose that?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
great. 10 minutes
All very
left in the round.
Record.
And I just want to point out, there's a boat behind you, Alan. So is there a boat in your future? Is that forecasting
Actually,
something?
Rich, I have to say, that's not a boat, that's a ship. A ship. And that
Big
particular ship
boat.
was sink in 19, I'm not sure what it was, but I was in actually at the museum in Belfast where the Titanic was built. It's Harland and Wolff Shipyard. It was a pretty impressive place. Anyway, thank you all for attending, and I look forward to seeing you around and at our next scheduled meeting on Thursday, November 21st.
Thank
Thank you.
Have a
Thanks,
good one.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Aye.
Safe sailing, Alan.
That's a different one. Thank you.
Let's go Mets.
Goodbye.
Yes.
And the Yankees.
And the Yankees. That's right.
What's the Yankee score?
I don't know, but looks
Hopefully
like,
they
Jim
lost.
might, looks like Jim might know. He was gone for a while.
Yeah.
See you guys later.